G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Chris Rankin's Music Crush. Today I'm doing a contest entry for my very good friend Mutha Alamare. Absolutely love his channel. Aaron and I get on very well and we have a lot of similar tastes. Certainly the love of 80s metal is strong. We're both reasonably the same age and grew up with metal in the 80s. We both like a lot of other stuff, but I think sometimes the way we look at things is from that metal background of the late 70s and 80s. So he thought he just put up a contest, and it was for no particular reason at all. He just decided that he would put up this contest, and it's the VCLT contest, so I thought I'd just do an entry, and he said to show some VCLT that you've received. Now, I haven't been making videos long in the VC, and my channel hasn't been up that long, so I haven't received any VCLT just yet. So what I thought I would do is I'd show some things that either things that I've received for free for people, or some really cool things that bands have done for me, and as far as giving me merch or signed things or so forth. I've already shown my Testament signed CD. I won't show that because I did actually sort of buy that CD and had it for a long time. And a couple of these fall into that category as well, but I've already shown that Testament one. There's actually one here that I have already shown, but I thought it fit the category better. So none of these are VCLT, but they are certainly things that I've either received from people for free, or they've sent to me as a bit of a promotional. There's actually a lot of CDs that I've received as promotional CDs from people, either from my good friend Tito at Everlasting Spew Records. He quite often sends me some things. Nyoman at Sadist Records, he quite often sends me some promotional CDs, and yeah, there's been some others along the way where, hey, listen to this, what do you think of this? And they've given it out to me. So there was quite a lot, and I didn't want to make the list too long and look a little bit self-indulgent. So I kept it to the ones that, I kept it to a good concise list. So I will put a link into Mutha Alamare's channel in the description. And yeah, Aaron, this is the best I can do. So well, here we go. Let me get started. So this one is extremely dear to me, and if you've been watching my channel for any bit, you'll know that the band Jasad from Indonesia is one of my favourite bands on the planet. I love them to bits. I've seen them a lot. One of my favourite live bands, one of my favourite metal bands of all time. And as I say, in the last 20 years, they're the only band that's managed to get me into the pit. The only band. My knees have not been good for a very long time. I did my ACL back in 1998, and I'm fine and good, but certainly not good enough to get into that. But anyway, I'm talking about the band Jasad, the band from Bandung in Indonesia, the metal city. I love this band to bits, and this is a very, 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 very cool piece. Of course, however many times you say very, it must be even better, right? Now, this is their most recent EP, simply called 5. And if you look carefully, it might be a little bit hard to see from the glare, but I'll try. It says, "To Chris Rankin." And it's signed by all the band of Jasad. So this was organised for me by the band and Jasad's management, and a very good friend of mine over in Bandung, Indonesia, Hendro Wibowo, who's has his own record label, and he's done tour manager. He was the tour manager for Halloween when they toured to Indonesia, Unisonic as well, and a few other bands, a few other international power metal bands. When they tour to Indonesia, he takes care of them when they get there. But yeah, he helped organise this for me with the boys at Jasad and Jasad management. So I love this to bits. Not only is it autographed, but it is actually personalised to me, and it means a lot to me. I love this band. I never stop telling the world about how great this band is, and I won't stop until every corner of the globe knows how good this band is, and this means a lot to me. I also got a shirt with the same design as this cover as well. as part of it. So Jasad, I've talked about them so many times. Rebirth of Jati Sunda is one of my favourite metal albums of all time. Silly Wangi is in my top 5 metal songs of all time. And this was such a good EP. This could have almost won my favourite album of 2019. Very close. It's an EP, so it's hard to give it over an album that's got 8 or 9 songs, I guess. But just simply on quality alone, there's no difference. So good. The next, I've talked about the band Onslaught quite a lot. They are my favourite thrash band of all time, one of my favourite bands of all time. And for a very long time, I had never seen them live. You know, they're not the biggest band in the world. You know, those who know them love them. And from England down to Perth, it's a very, very long way, and I just never had gotten to see them. Well, not only did I get to see them in 2016, I got to meet them, and then I ended up hanging out with them for the good part of 48 hours, driving them around Jakarta, Indonesia, talking to them, chatting to them. I had a very good, long, in-depth music nerd discussion with Sai about progressive rock, who was the recently ex-vocalist of Onslaught, long-time vocalist of Onslaught. He's a big prog fan of the 70s, so we ended up having a long, massive music nerd discussion about that, which was surreal but very cool, that I wasn't just meeting and doing the usual photo. I was actually hanging out with them as if they were my friend, and they are my friends, and I've become very good friends with them. So knowing that I was probably going to meet them, I did take I didn't take the whole CD with me, but I took the CD booklets with me and just put them in my pocket. I had a side pocket on my pants that I knew wouldn't crush the sleeve, and I thought I'll just take it up there with me and I'll have it with me, and you never know. And they did. I got them to sign some things, and so first of all, of course, we've got this fantastic album. Just so good. 1986, one of the greatest thrash albums of all time. And if we take out the CD booklet, so they signed that for me, which was very cool. The funny thing is, Nige doesn't look actually too much different to what he does there. They were all so cool. Mike, Sai, Nige. I got to meet everyone. I got to hang out with them. Now, this is my favourite thrash album of all time, Onslaught Killing Peace. I absolutely adore this. And as you can see, it's got all their autographs on there. So these were the 2 CD booklets that I got signed at the time. I don't think there's anything on the inside of these. No, I don't think so. So yeah, so it was just so good, every bit of it. Meeting them, seeing them live, of course, for the first time, up on the front railing as well, a big, huge festival called Hamasonic in Jakarta, and then hanging out with them for, you know, best part of 48 hours, and and then my good friend Mike Ball, when he went, he was the guy that helped introduce me to them. He was a bassist with Onslaught for a short while back in England, and he grew up with them. They were just boys in his neighbourhood, so he knew them pretty well. So when he came up with me to Jakarta, he wanted to see them, but he also helped introduce me to them as well. And when he went back a couple of years ago, I think it was, to England, he met up with them again and got the 30th anniversary of The Force, and they all signed this one as well. I don't think there's anything inside, no. So they all signed that one for me as well. So I was, and then Mike gave it to me when he got back. So yeah. So not VCLT as such, but you can see this is something that I cherish very much, that I got from a band very, very, very much. I love Onslaught. I will do a video rather soon. I've got a lot of videos lined up that I want to do, and I'm going to do a discography, an Onslaught discography, because I have everything that they've done. Shown this album before, The Mighty Death Vomit from Jogja, Indonesia. brutal death metal band, and I got this from them. You can see it all signed as well. This is their 2014 album, Forging the Legacy. I spoke a bit about them in one of my previous videos, so I won't go into too much now. But just, yeah, one of the best live death metal bands I've ever seen, along with Jasad. Mighty Death Vomit signed by the boys there. Roy, Oki, Sofyan. So good. So very good. Next, a band that I love very much. Definitely one of my favourite Australian metal bands. And whenever they come to Perth, I always make sure I see them. I've talked a little bit about them before. They've had two lives as such. They were first called Dungeon. Great sort of somewhere in between traditional heavy metal and power metal. I guess these days we hear it called the US power metal, which is probably close to their style. Can be a little bit heavier than that sometimes in the riffs. They're a little bit heavier than the normal power metal. But such a great band. And when they came over for this tour and launched this album, Andy, who's a very good friend of mine, Andy Dowling, he signed it, and the boys, this is their Digital Lies album. This is my favourite Lord album. So good. If you want to hear anything by Lord, listen to the song, the title track, Digital Lies. Such a great album. In fact, pretty much all of my Lord albums, not all, but most of my Lord albums are signed. Andy normally gets them signed for me. So they're based over in a combination of Sydney, New South Wales and Wollongong, New South Wales over the other side. And they come over pretty regularly, and I always make sure I see them. Great band, Lord. Absolutely fantastic. Now this was dropped off to me only a couple of weeks ago by my very good friend Chris Reed, a guy who shares a lot of the same music loves as me, and he's just joined a band actually that I won't go into. I'm not sure if I'm publicly allowed to say which band he's in now. I will soon, but he's just joined a very popular Perth band. He was in another Perth band called Let's Kill Uncle, which I've shown before, a great groove metal band, but he dropped off this to me. He said, "Dude, do you want this?" And I said, "Yes, thank you very much." This is Run to the Hill single. This is a UK original press, 1982, and you know, the cover's a little bit thing, but hey, it's a gift and I love it and it's original. And I love how you know it's an original because it's got the tour dates. The 1982 tour dates on the back. So that's very cool. A quick show of the label. There we go. So yeah, thank you very much, Chris, but yeah, I was very pleased. And speaking of Chris Reed, he also dropped off this to me not long ago, which I have shown in the video before. This was a band, he went and lived in England for a little while, I think for work, and when he was there, he had a stoner metal band, stoner rock band. I've shown this before, Young Druid. So he said, "Do you want one?" When he came back, he said, "Do you want one of these?" And I said, "Yes, please. Thank you very much." Cool, clear label. Not label, what I'm talking about. Cool, clear vinyl there. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely great album. Stoner metal. Really good. This was 2019 was its release. It's a very good album indeed. I love it to bits. Young Druid. Check it out if you've never heard of it. Now, 2018, I saw this next band. It was at easily one of my favourite. It was a festival, and it had, for me, it was in Bali, July 2018, and it was sort of in the new home of where Bali heavy metal is, an area called Jimbaran, and the home of heavy metal, I guess, in Bali anyway. Bali, Indonesia, was in Tabanan, but it's recently sort of moved. That's where a lot of the bands go. And it was one of the coolest evenings of metal and people that I've ever had in my life. One of the absolute coolest. I can think of maybe one or two or three a bit higher, and I'll talk about them one day. Well, 2016 Hammersonic for sure, as you can imagine. But this was it was down a laneway. It was basically someone's carport that they'd cleared out and cleaned. That was the stage. The stage was the same level of all of us. There was a bit of a drum riser, and basically the laneway that leaded into the carport was basically the standing room, and there was like a courtyard to the house's carport. But these are all, well-known bands. In fact, that's where I first saw Nafrat live, the death metal band from Singapore that I spoke about before, and I got to meet Shah from there and form friendships with him and the rest of Nafrat as well, and his partner Sasha. And I also it's where I got to meet Nyoman as well, who I've become very good friends with of Sadist Records. So this is a long story, I know, but why I'm saying it is I could show a whole hour video of the things that I either bought at that festival or things that were just literally thrown at me. Take this, hear this, listen to this, take that, take this. We took great big group photos after the gig with all the big horns up. I got to meet and chat to all the people. You literally could only fit about 40 people in this courtyard, and then the rest was just down this laneway. And the sound was great. The bands were awesome. Just so many great bands, and just a real fraternity of people that loved heavy metal and loved it for all the right reasons, and just really good people. So, with that long story, I saw this band. They were the second last band on before Nafrat. Nafrat were fantastic. And this band just blew me away because I knew nothing about this band, and most of the time when I go and watch a gig or any of that sort of thing, I know a little something about a band, and I didn't really know much about this band. The band is called Sorum, and this album is called Bairawa, and they are a black metal band from Probolinggo in Jawa Timur, and they blew me away. The vocalist, Sri Bathari, she was absolutely amazing. Her growls, she changed up. She did all sorts of little bits and pieces in the growls. She looked frightening. She looked ominous. And then once, like as always, you got off the stage, the nicest, sweetest person. What I love about Sorum is that it's really dark and nasty black metal, but lots of good riffs, still plenty of catchiness, and they wear traditional batik as well, when the Indonesian batik were on stage, so it's a real intertwining of nasty, evil, sinister black metal, but also traditional Indonesian music and styles. And I love this band, and they were so nice. They gave me a copy of this album. I've got to get a whole pile of jewel cases, actually, because I've got a few CDs like this that need a jewel case. They're very hard to get these days. But yeah, that's the band Sorum. I've had 3 albums. This was their latest album, the 3rd album. This came out 2018. In fact, it came out just as they were doing that show in Bali in July 2018. Sorum. So good. I could even do a whole video about that night. It really was one of those nights where you think, I really wish all gigs could be like this. It was the perfect blend of great music, intimacy. It was as I say, it was, the stage was in someone's house's carport. That was the stage. But having said that, it wasn't amateurish at all. It was so well done. The sound was great. Everything was good. And then afterwards, we all just hung out and shared stories and talked and took photos together and group photos. And just such a great night. On to the next band. Another band from Indonesia. Lord Symphony. It's a power metal band with a great vocalist, Monk Bodhi. Such a good vocalist, one of the best power metal vocalists. So the manager of this band is Hendro, who I spoke about before with the Jasad CD. Hendro's a very, very good friend of mine. So when Lord Symphony came out, this was, I think 2000 and... Oh, it's either 2013 or 2014, but I'm pretty sure it's 2014. This is their second album. I don't have their first one. This is their second album. So Hendro gave me a copy of this. And then he also gave me a copy of their most recent album, The End of Time, which is 2016. I know this one's 2016 for sure. Lord Symphony, great epic power metal. Really, really classic power metal stuff. And as I say, with Monk Bodie's fantastic vocals, really good. So they were both from Hendro. Very nice. As I say, I get quite a few bands sending me their promo CDs, or they'll send me a link on SoundCloud. What do you think of this? Blah, 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 blah. As I say, Tito at Everlasting Spew Records. If you don't know Everlasting Spew Records, make sure you go and check them out. I'll put a link to Everlasting Spew Records in the description. Great label, especially good for extreme stuff, death metal, black metal, really, really, really good stuff. A lot of their stuff you can get easily on Bandcamp. And here's another band that sent me their CD, the wonderful Steel Swarm. Great traditional heavy metal band. I'm pretty sure this was 2013, 2014. The Ultimate Offering. It's just a 4-track EP. And I've got quite a lot of these. I could make a whole video with all of these, but I thought that might be a little bit overindulgent considering it's a contest entry. So there's Steel Swarm from Australia, from Melbourne. From memory, it's either Sydney or Melbourne, but I'm pretty sure it's Melbourne. Yeah, I'm quite positive. And then recently I showed this as well that I got from Craig, from another suburb in Perth. He messaged me and he said he had 2 copies of this. Would I like one? And I said, well, absolutely. So I went over there and got it. This is Altar of Oblivion, their 2009 debut album. Sinews of Anguish. They're from Denmark. Great doom band. Fantastic. In the back there. This is a double album too. Absolutely beautiful. I've been listening to this a lot. Love it so much. So there we go. That was my contest entry. Sorry, Aaron, if that was a little bit longer than was meant to be. I had a lot more that I could have showed. I did, and I didn't have any VCLT, but I really wanted to be a part of your contest because I love your channel. I really love it, so I wanted to show some support. So I thought I'd do it this way, just showing things that I got really humbly and nicely from bands, or some things that I got for free from people. So I'll put all the links to all the things I've mentioned today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Aaron Mutha Alamare's channel. It really is outstanding. And yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Catch you all soon.